I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your dumpster fire for the week of September 22nd to September 28th.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns. And the unicorns dance while the world burns. World burns.
I just want to say thank you to my patrons. If you are interested in seeing this uncut, mostly version, please subscribe at the $10 level. But to the patrons who are subscribing, thank you. We could not do this without you. We would like to get to the point where we do it even maybe twice a week. But we're not quite there yet because we're all working for free around here. Thank you to anyone who subscribes. And if you're not subscribed, gently touch my bell and buttons. Gently write some comments.
You could be a flight attendant with those hand gestures.
I know. I miss my calling. And if you want to like, subscribe, share, the most important thing you can do is telling one person that you know about us. Because word of mouth is more powerful than anything. Pass this thing around like HPV. All right.
Always the goal.
All right. We're going to try and do it before the mug turns black.
Yes.
And hope
and get your
something
Phetasy
over.
mugs soon at
Yeah, get your
Phetasy.com.
Phetasy mugs. They're coming. The store might be up by the time this launches.
Excellent.
For all we know.
Super exciting. Troll in chief. On Monday, President Trump tweeted in response to Greta's UNGA speech, "She seems like a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future. Nice to see."
Mind you, it's in response to the speech in which she's like, "Shame on all of you. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood.
I've given up my childhood."
I mean, that's a pretty epic troll, but her response was even better.
Here's how I responded to this when I saw it. I was like, I had to not laugh.
You have to acknowledge.
Because if it was anyone other than the president of the United States, it would be hilarious.
Yeah,
because she's so outraged. But then Greta, in all of her like awesomeness, she changed her bio.
She trolled right back.
Yeah, she
and
did.
changed her bio to a
Greta,
very
clap back.
a very happy young girl looking forward to a bright and wonderful future.
That's the thing, though, is that these boomers are not going to be able to take on the children in terms of memes and trying to troll them because
No.
the kids grew up on the internet and they know how to take those insults and like boomerang them back.
She trumped Trump's
Yeah.
epic troll.
And it figures that our president, who acts like a 12-year-old online, we've talked about this before, is fighting with a 16-year-old girl. Like, this is the president of the United States. Given the news that's been going on this week, which is insane, if I were him, I'd be figuring out how to just kind of quietly resign, protect my family members, and get my fat ass back on the golf course. Call me crazy, but I would be like pulling that Homer Simpson into the bushes if I were him right about now.
Uh-huh.
You got a good run. Maybe
Go
try and
out on
avoid.
top.
Maybe try and avoid jail. And he doesn't care. And his kids are probably going to all end up in jail and he'll be sitting on a beach earning 20%.
Yeah.
All right. There was so much news about Greta.
I know.
The news cycle this week, this might feel a bit repetitive because the news cycle this week was essentially just taken over by all the climate stuff. And then all of there's something going on in our government, apparently. I'm not really paying attention. Or I'm trying not to.
Yeah. Proof that we're living in a simulation. Boston Dynamics made its own Simone Biles robot called Atlas.
Oh my God.
Oh, I get creeped out just reading it, not to mention watching the video.
I'm stockpiling sand. I'm glad you guys get that joke. Sometimes when I do it on stage, people just look at me. I'm like, electronics and sand, they don't mix. Our little undisclosed location will start having just sandbags in the background.
We need like some sort of sand blaster machine. From the Boston Dynamics website, the world's most dynamic humanoid robot, Atlas is a research platform designed to push the limits of whole body mobility. Atlas's advanced control system and state-of-the-art hardware give the robot the power and balance to demonstrate human-level agility.
No.
Ugh.
It's that question of they didn't ask themselves if they should,
Yeah.
They just they wanted to know if they could and forgot to ask if they should.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
No! This robot shouldn't be doing the splits and flips and shit. This was always the advantage that we had over robots, was that they couldn't, their
awkward.
proprioception was off. So they couldn't readjust and rebalance. Now they can do freaking backflips right before they murder us.
It really gives me the
They'll be like,
heebie-jeebies.
chop us up to pieces with their laser eyes and then blast us around and kick our head. And then they'll be like, ah. And the other robots will be giving it 10.5. It'll be like Robot Olympics will just be them murdering humans and then getting scored on
With
it.
style for style points.
Oh, God. That's really going to happen, isn't it? I think the Jetsons had the future all wrong. Maybe the kids these days don't even know what the Jetsons is. It's a cartoon that we old people grew up with. And they had flying cars, which we were all looking forward to. And they had robot slaves. And I think by the time we get our shit together and have flying cars, we're going to be slaves to the robots. They had it all backwards.
Yep.
And they're not going to have to do anything like brute force to take us over. They're just going to beep us to death.
I may be homely, Buster, but I'm S-M-A-R-T smart.
Beep us into submission. They're already training us to do this. And it's just going to be the robots standing there. And we'll be like, no, I'm not going to do that. And they'll be like, beep, 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 beep. And you're like, okay, robot, I'll wash your clothes. No. Shut up, robot. Really? They get louder now? Okay. Jesus. They're going to win. Stop beeping at me. What do I want for dinner? Well, I guess I'm going to start with. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, robot. I'll do your nails. I don't know what the robots are going to need from us, really, though. Maybe we'll just be their emotional support pets.
We're going to be their dancing monkeys is what we're going to be.
I will happily be a robot's dancing monkey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already a dancing monkey on YouTube. Make sure you write a nice comment.
I don't know how you managed to make that sound dirty, but you do.
It's a gift. It's because my tits are out in a nice little window.
In a nice little U-shaped window.
It's a tit window. All cleavage needs a window.
Uh-huh.
We've been locking it up. Free the cleavage. Free the cleavage. It's just peeking out like, I wish that I could be free with the nipples.
Capitalism always wins. Mattel launches a line of gender non-conforming dolls.
I'm trying not to roll my eyes because it's rude to roll my eyes at progress or whatever they call it. Okay, first of all, there's a video that Time put out. They're interviewing the president of Mattel and the people who are behind this shenanigan.
Kids right now, especially Gen Alpha kids, which are kids under the age of 10, they see gender very differently.
So the non-conforming, non-binary gender generation is Gen Alpha? Doesn't even make sense. No, they're lovely children. They're going to save the world. You should be ashamed.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood.
Or they're going to be slaves to the robots, one or the
I
other.
said that to my therapist, and she told me that I was the reason that she needed therapy. I said, you know what, blank, your children, your grandchildren are going to be slaves to the robots. And she was like really disturbed by that. And she goes, you know, Bridget, you're the reason I need therapy.
But the only reason you can be disturbed by that is if you think there's an element of truth to it. Otherwise,
because
it's
it
just
is
a
going to
joke.
be true.
Yeah.
Secondly, in the video, they said these things like these kids see and experience gender differently. And they said that the kids don't want their dolls to be labeled. Like, they see and experience gender differently because you're brainwashing the kids to see and experience gender differently. Some of these parents aren't even labeling their child a he or she until the child tells them what they feel like they are. I'm sorry, I'm old school. Yes, I'm an old 40-year-old lady who thinks this is fucking crazy and that everyone's doing a science experiment on a generation of children after hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, and it's gonna go wacky and crazy, and we are messing with things that we should not be messing with. And I'm scared for our future. We need to cancel culture. We've said this before.
Carson King. He was the kid who raised all this money.
It's such an internet story. He went viral because he had a sign that said need beer money or something.
Right.
And then people started giving him money to his Venmo. He had need beer money with his Venmo. Then he decided to donate it all to the Iowa Children's Hospital.
Right.
And raised $1.2 million.
Which is
insane. And then I think like Anheuser-Busch decided to match his donation and Venmo decided to match it. And then the Iowa Register, or the Des Moines Register, a reporter dug up an old tweet of his from 2012 when the guy Carson was 16 years old, quoting some Tosh.0
he was joking with
material.
his friends. Yeah.
And basically internet shamed him, started a mob, which why anyone's engaging in this mob, don't do this shit, people. When you see this, just reject it. If we all just start rejecting it, and why the Des Moines Register even published this shit is beyond me and infuriating. That he comes out and publicly apologizes. Then all of the right wing, because they were like, F that, they're all about the new rules. They start going down his
the reporter's
Twitter feed. An idiot reporter who didn't think to look at his Twitter feed before he started throwing stones in his glass house. He had all of these like homophobic and
misogynistic, racist.
They were way more messed up than Carson's, by the way. And then now he's the victim. He's in BuzzFeed saying that the tweets were taken out of context because then the Des Moines Register, being idiot, there's mistake number 2, fired their reporter and didn't even back up their reporter on a story that they accepted.
Right.
So they made the mistake of printing it, which was their first mistake. Second mistake is then firing their reporter and not getting behind the reporter. And
well, of course they're going to fire the reporter.
No, they shouldn't have. They should have said, no, we're not engaging in this.
Yeah, but they already engaged in it.
They should have apologized for engaging in it, and then they should have and not fired their reporter.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that if they're already printing a story attacking some kid for these who did a really good deed.
They should have said, we learned a lesson.
Yeah.
We learned a lesson. We made a bad editorial decision, and we retract our story, apologize to Carson King publicly for doing that, and say we learned a lesson and we're not going to fire our reporter because this is the lesson we learned. Cancel culture is bad, and we shouldn't be basically functioning as journalism, where you're being like an activist and it's mob mentality. It's just bad. It starts with us.
Yeah.
I don't engage in pylons.
No.
It's not something, if you see a pylon, don't do it. When I saw everybody piling on the reporter, I'm like, you guys aren't any better. I understand the instinct, but how is that any better? Like an eye for an eye? Okay, the whole world is blind. I think someone said that, like Gandhi or something. Some brilliant misogynist.
It was Gandhi.
Boycott of boycotts.
It's all the climate stuff, man. Greta. I'm going to boycott
all the
Greta.
headlines this week.
Boycott Greta, and it's like canceled. This is the thing about the children human shields. You can't make fun of them.
No.
So then I shared a meme that I found, and somebody said, you shouldn't be sharing that meme. It's very unadult-like of you to share a meme of a child. I'm like, she's putting herself out there on the world stage, shaming all of the adults.
My message is that we'll be watching you.
And wanting to be taken seriously as an adult and engage in serious conversations, you're gonna be memed. Yeah, there were a lot of memes. Okay, again, I don't like to make fun of children who are inspiring and trying to save the world. However, anytime anyone uses because I'm such a Coke addict, as we all know, not like that Coke addict that was in the past, like Coca-Cola addict, I slam it in the middle of the night. It's my dirtiest secret. It's like water. Sam will hear me like crack one open and be like,
like shotguns the Coke in 3 seconds.
And goes back to sleep.
They drink it like water. They should sponsor us. Whenever anyone has the, I'd like a Coke, please. Me when somebody says Pepsi, okay?
Yeah, I saw that.
And there was a great one. You've stolen.
In my dreams, in my childhood, with your empty words.
It's so memeable. It's sad and also just.
I know. I saw it and I was like, this poor child.
And then there was a whole thing where she was out there, and then Trump came. And he walked in all blustery and like, and she just like shoots him the evil eye. That was great. And everyone was like, this is an Oscar-worthy gift. Well, can somebody give this gift an Oscar? I was like, so you're implying that she's acting? You're implying that this is performative? I'm not sure that's the message you want to be getting across about this earnest little girl saving the world. Did you see Death Metal,
No,
Greta?
I didn't.
My message is that we'll be watching you.
The children of the memes. And why didn't they call that generation the meme generation? They did this whole death metal, because Swedish death metal is a thing. So they did a whole Swedish death metal version of her with her speech.
You have stolen my dreams, my childhood, with your empty words.
And then she retweeted it. And she said, I'm done with this climate thing. And Sam and I were laughing. I can't wait for her Netflix stand-up special, Climate. Where everyone's just snapping. And they're like, she's so brave. She's so brave.
You can't spell great without Greta.
Well, then it's kids versus the world in a landmark climate complaint. Greta Thunberg and 15 other kids announced that they're suing Argentina, Brazil, France, Germany, and Turkey on the grounds that the countries are violating their rights as children. If the suit is successful, the United Nations would classify the climate crisis as a children's rights
I
crisis.
love that the kids are suing the world. It would not have been hard to convince me to get on board with this movement if someone was like, hey, you need to skip school every Friday for the rest of your life. I'd be like, please save the earth and the polar bears.
Whales.
Yeah. Whatever else you need to save so that I don't have to go to school on Fridays every day for the rest of my life. Kids, lovingly, go back to school and maybe learn some science. They're not suing China, India, or the United States.
Yeah.
We're like the top 3 biggest offenders.
Yeah.
That would be like me going after a college kid for some tweets instead of going after like some big person who's ruining the world.
Like the president.
I wasn't going to name any names. All the garbage in the ocean is pretty much from those countries. So we need to tackle that. I'm looking at you, children. Save us.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait for China to take over.
Too late.
So children, take on China, please. You gotta fight China.
Yeah, we'll leave it to the kids to fight China.
Hey, they're doing it in Hong Kong. The children are fighting China and Hong Kong. White children of the European world. Why don't you get your shit together and go help them? You should be ashamed. You're stealing my adulthood. I was lazily enjoying doing nothing. And now I have to do nothing and feel guilty. You can't do this. I was watching Netflix and chilling, and now I'm supposed to watch Netflix and chill and feel guilty. Like I'm supposed to be doing something, and I don't know what to do.
I don't want to wait for China to take over.
Oh, yeah, then there was the dancing and littering. Mm-hmm. The twerker. Yes. He was like...
And someone was throwing confetti all over him.
Somebody was like, I hate that video. I'm like, we all do. It was ridiculous.
And then there were
What's your fucking point? What is your point of doing that? It's so stupid.
Literally
you
just
look
to
ridiculous. You look ridiculous. It's all performative, narcissism on fire, just self-aggrandizing, disgusting. Look at me, everybody. Lame behavior that is getting attention and you're just pissing people off. You're not even like attracting anybody to your cause. People are revolted by this. It's all just for pictures and it's so gross. You should be ashamed.
How dare you?
The youth-driven anti-carbon crusade also fought man-made climate change.
Sam was like all about this one.
By chaining a bunch of handicapped baby boomers to a plastic sailboat. Police had to use a portable generator to power their saws to cut into the boat and release the protesters.
First of all, I have so many questions.
Well, I don't understand the point.
I didn't either. A. B. Did they get these handicapped baby? B. Can you use the word handicapped anymore? C. Did they get these handicapped boomers from like an old person's home and chain them to this boat?
I'm checking out my grandma for lunch.
And Grandma winds up in handcuffs. And
Grandma
like,
winds
what's
up.
going
And
on?
she's like, where am I? And then they block traffic, so now they cause this huge traffic backup, which is just idling cars spewing CO2 into the fucking environment. What is the point? You guys are so dumb. Don't. And by the way, also you're only holding up poor people because rich people can stay home. And also, does anyone work anymore other than these poor single moms sitting in your fucking traffic jam while you twerk and throw glitter around? I really needed to get that out of my system. I actually feel better. I don't want to wait.
There was also, appropriately, a dumpster fire.
I've been told by my handlers to remind you to touch my bells and buttons. Leave a comment telling us that you love touching my bells.
And buttons.
And buttons.
We're living in a South Park. Oh, God. The OK hand gesture is now a hate symbol, according to a new report by the Anti-Defamation League.
What? Whatever do you mean? You know what's funny is that someday someone's going to screenshot this exact image and then canceled. And they'll be like, see, she was signaling to her white power posse on the internet.
I remember when the OK symbol, you would just put it down by your crotch, and if anyone looked, you punched them.
What?
Okay.
No, it was totally a thing. When I was in school, you would make the OK sign, and you'd like put it down by your crotch, and somebody would look at you, and when they'd look at that, then you'd punch them.
Because they were signaling white supremacy.
That's really what it was. It was a white supremacy radar.
You got away with punching people in your school? Was this in the face or just in a general
in the
body
arm.
punch? Okay.
I'll
Sam,
find it. I will find it.
Never heard
That
of
is
this.
really weird, Sam. You went to a really weird school.
Is this
It
like
was
a band
Texas.
thing, Sam? Maybe the cool kids weren't doing this.
Are you implying I am a nerd?
You're wearing a NASA sweatshirt. The Anti-Defamation League, like, it's becoming a joke. You can't just take these random things and and you shouldn't let a very, very minuscule population take something and now the rest of the world has to adapt. This also applies to other situations of which I won't mention because I don't want to get canceled. Most people haven't even heard that this is a thing.
Yeah. No idea.
The
People are
average
like,
American or
What are you talking
or
about?
global citizen is like, huh? And it means different things in different countries.
Rolling Stone. The bowl cut is now a symbol of white supremacy.
Okay, you can have that one.
Right? Who needs the bowl cut?
Take it, white supremacists. We've been trying to get rid of that for years. You had a bowl cut, didn't you?
I had a bowl cut, but not compared to some of the epic bowl cuts I knew on like 10-year-old boys, 12-year-old boys, like epic bowl cuts. I mean, I grew up in a very preppy
Where did
place.
this even come from, though? Rolling Stone, which is allegedly a magazine that used to be respectable, wrote this article.
Yeah. Sprained My Eyes. ABC News. You are my best friend, soulmate, And in just a few pushes, you'll be the most amazing mother our daughter could ever ask for.
Excuse me.
Husband of the year surprises pregnant wife with book of motivational messages to encourage her during 2-day
How
labor.
dare that man assume his child's gender before that child has a chance to identify, first of all. Second of all, I would murder that motherfucker. She was in labor for 2 days. And again, it's narcissism on fire. I don't think this went the way the guy had hoped. She's been in labor 2 days. Somebody tweeted it. They're like, Father of the Year. But then every woman online was like, I would literally kill that man if he did that 2 days into labor.
Yeah, way to make it all about you, buddy.
Patriarchy always wins. This should have been under patriarchy, so crafty.
Ugh. Yeah, no.
Here's how to make my wife's 2-day labor all about moi.
Even more unbearable. And then we have Prince Harry's
Ugh.
eco-anxiety leaves me struggling to get out of bed.
Oh my God.
The royal struggles with his mental health are well documented. Now, he says, fears of environmental catastrophes sometimes leave him paralyzed under the duvet.
Poor Prince Harry. I just imagine him like waking up in the morning. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Excuse me. Could you please bring me some gluten-free toast for Megan and I and our vegan butter, please? I'm ego-depressed and I must stay into my duvet. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Oh, fire up the jets, please. While I get over my ego-depression, I'm going to go hunting in Scotland.
Yes, my lord.
Ding-a-ding-a-ding. Could you please change baby Reggie?
Archie.
Prince Reginald.
Could you please change Prince Reggie Archie's diapers?
The diapers are not plastic. They're, what are the cloth reusable diapers?
Yes, they must be washed.
They must be hand washed, please.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lady.
They're the finest quality linen diapers you can find.
It's not eco-depression, Harry. It's a hangover. Get your fucking shit. Get out of bed. Yeah, oh, I had lots of eco-depressions too when I was drinking. I was like, I can't get out of bed. If you subscribe to the $10 level, you can hear how I really feel about this situation. Maggie censored me and won't let me put it online. She's oppressing my free speech.
Help, help, I'm being repressed.
She's basically China. Cousin Maggie is China. What's up, you do? In personal news, I wrote an open letter to the Democratic Party. And as you can imagine, Democrats were very excited about it. No, they weren't. So check that out. That's on Spectator. I'm writing a column for them now. Spectator USA launched a magazine. And you can subscribe. We will put the link here with the magic of technology. We had Helen Pluckrose on Watkins Welcome. Brilliant conversation because she's brilliant. And one of my favorites. And
favorites.
Yep. I cried in the check-in. So if you want to like jerk off and listen to me cry, feel free.
Wow, you went to a dark place with that one. Like your check-in wasn't dark enough. They're going to listen to you talk about like feeling suicidal and jerk off. Jesus Christ, Bridget.
Subscribe to the $25 level of Patreon. You can look at my boobs, listen to me cry, and jerk off.
$25 level surge.
I also came out as a Fish fan.
It's her deep, dark secret.
I was going down a hole of just old music. And then I went down like a Fish rabbit hole. And I haven't listened to it really since I've been sober because why would I? And I was kind of depressed and it made me happy. And I was like, oh, the music's so happy. And then I admitted that I was a Fish fan and everyone was like, I thought that I knew you.
How dare you?
Yeah, you got a lot of flack for it.
That's like I think one of the few times I've been ratioed for real.
Uh-huh.
Canceled.
An example of a real Phetasy.
Phetasy, the word.
Yes.
The word I made up.
Democratic steak fry. The 2020 Democratic presidential candidates attended the Polk County steak fry a day after the climate strike.
The pandering will continue until morale improves. How long are these freaking fracking. Like, how long do the primaries go on? How long?
For a while.
This is like the worst election ever. I'm going to vote for my dog.
And then there was also some dancing. They were dancing.
They were dancing.
Best movie ever.
It is the best movie ever. For people who don't know, we're talking about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels and the scene with Steve Martin where he's in the wheelchair pretending to be handicapped, if you can say that anymore. And he's like, they're dancing.
Take me from this place.
They're dancing.
They're dancing. Oh, God! They're dancing. Oh, take me from this place.
Breaking Bridget, a photo from Instagram went viral on Twitter of a period on your head yogi hippie mom from Houston, Texas. The caption, if this monthly flood of ours makes you uncomfortable, maybe I should remind you where the you came from.
Okay. This is very hostile language for a picture with children.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think we need to, as a society, be like, there's something to be said for a little bit of modesty. Hold on. There's something to be said for a little bit of modesty.
I
don't want to see
what
your kid.
drove
It's
you to do this.
Again, it's narcissism on
yeah,
fire.
It really is.
It's like, look at me, everybody.
Yeah,
I
look
have
how woke I am.
And by the way, your kids are gonna. Yeah, this was really like the woke one of the week. Your kids are gonna grow up someday, and they're going to be reminded that you were the mom that went viral for having your period on their heads. Don't do this shit. These parents are the worst.
The worst.
The worst generation of parents ever. You are all so self-absorbed. All this stuff you're doing with the gender, with the period, with the baby, it's all for Instagram. Like, get a grip. Get a grip. Take care of your children. Stop, like, making it all about you, you narcissistic lunatics. It's not healthy. You should be ashamed.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood.
You have stolen their childhood. Truly. Capitalism always wins. Thank you to our patrons. Thank you.
All patrons. at
All
every level.
patrons. Former and current, and those of you subscribing now. It's a lot. Any dollar, any amount of money. I value your dollars. I don't want to waste your time or money. We want to do this because we have fun, and we hope you do too. And we want you to touch my bells and buttons. And for the uncut version, subscribe to my Patreon, $10 level. Okay. This has been your dumpster fire for the week of September 22nd to September 28th. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich.